I
Luke,
must
you
say
got
I'm a little
anything?
bit worried about this because John does not like Indiana very much. And when I was the high school coach at presentation, we did
Uh-huh.
not like Archbishop Mitty very much.
Oh no.
Hopefully we like you.
All right, welcome to this episode of Social Kick. We have a partial crew here because Brian is enjoying himself at the Final Four with the big Florida Auburn matchup in basketball. I guess go Auburn. That's who we're rooting for, right, Luke?
I think so. Yeah, we do it.
But I'm John Mullen. We have Luke Paddington here, and then fresh off amazing celebration and NCAA title in the 200 breast. Jassen Yep, how you doing today, man?
Well, yeah, I'm good. Thanks for having me. It's very exciting.
Yeah, of course, man. Well, we always poll our audience for questions ahead of time at Social Kick Swim.
John, he's the
Yeah.
first swimmer in 206-day podcast that suited up for the show. People suit up for it. People suit up for, but they don't suit up for the show. So show us a little bit of your tux, man. I like it.
Yeah, it's
Good.
Fancy Fridays, so yeah, I gotta dress up a bit. It's all I've been getting into menswear, kind of like the past couple years. So this is off of eBay. You can see it's like this is pretty bad, but it's a 1974
Wow.
vintage handmade like bespoke tux from England that I got off eBay. And yeah, I mean, bow tie is Canali, I think. This is Brooks Brothers. And yeah.
You got some shoes.
So
So by the way, John, from now on, I'd like you to refer to me as vintage bespoke because I'm
Oh, really?
74 as well.
bespoke.
So
You are vintage, that's for sure. Yeah, I mean, I was curious, why I was getting some clothing or, what's your favorite clothing brand questions. Now I think I know why. It looks like you're
Oh,
Fancy
okay.
Friday, pretty into fashion, huh?
Yeah.
So what is your favorite
Yeah.
clothing brand? That's from Leo Pelez.
Oh, Leo. I think Ralph Lauren's a pretty big inspiration. Brooks Brothers is pretty great too. But it's kind of like whatever I can find when I'm trolling eBay. That's what I'll end up getting, or Goodwill. Yeah.
If you don't mind me asking, how much does something like this cost on eBay nowadays?
This specifically
Yeah.
was like 180.
Okay.
Yeah. So I mean, for like a bespoke tux that would otherwise probably cost $5,000. I mean, it's kind of a steal.
Yeah.
I was sitting on it for a little bit, and my roommate Matt King kind of convinced me to get it. I think it was during December. He's like, just do it. And so it was a good purchase because I've worn it a couple times just for fun, and it's always nice to feel dressed up and look nice. Yeah.
But Justin, how does it fit? Because especially breaststrokers have the massive
Yeah.
shoulders, the tiniest waist, and the thick thighs. Like, how are you tailoring yourself
Yeah.
for this? You know?
No, it's very comfortable. It's I think, going a bit into menswear, totally off topic, but the old like tuxes and suits, they're cut a lot fuller, so there's a lot more space, especially like if I stand up. I don't know if you can see through the trousers, there's like a lot more room through the bottom as well.
Right.
Like the calves. So it's very mobile. I mean, I made sure the measurements all fit me. And I mean, it needs some slight alterations, but overall it fits. It's like very comfortable. Yeah, I would say.
What are you going in a 50-yard dress like that? 50-yard breaststroke.
What am I going in this? I would not jump in the water with this. Probably, if I can make it under 40, that would be a good time though.
Okay, good. When I challenge you to a race, you in that, me normal.
Well, we might have a better challenge
jeans.
here. Yeah. Neophyto Shero, one of our guests, wants to know what you could go into 200 breasts with the ugliest IU striped get up that they have in the outfit, the overalls.
The overalls in a 2 breast. Wow.
4 minutes.
I think I'd be lucky to be under like 3 minutes.
Yeah.
We could try it. I know Kyle Sockwell's been going around with the jeans 50 fly challenge. So
Yeah.
Hey, maybe I'll show up to practice one day in jeans and rip a 50 breast.
There you go. It's all right. I don't think Luke and I are breaking 4 minutes without in a tech suit in a 200 breast.
I'm sure you can. Sure you can. I have faith.
All right. There we go. All right. Next audience question from Bundle Up 97. Maybe you're a movie man too. What are your 4 favorite movies or films?
Oh, yeah, I've been getting into Letterboxd.
Mm-hmm.
If you don't know, that's like a movie rating app. So right now, I would say, um, like my favorite movie right now of all time, just pure nostalgia, Ratatouille, Pixar. I love cooking. I love the way it displays food. It's great. It's just a beautiful movie, and it's so heartwarming. Like the scene where Ego eats the ratatouille, and it's just like flashback. So that's number one. And then this year, I think Dune Part 2 just blew my mind. I've seen it 2 times in theaters, and like 1 or 2 more times since then as well. Amazing, amazing, amazing movie. I think Everything All at Once, a couple years back. That movie made me laugh, made me cry. I love that movie so much, and it's very touching. And lastly, I think it's got to be It's a Wonderful Life. Like old
Classic, yeah.
1950s movie. I watched it with again one of my roommates, Matt King, and we were just sobbing our eyes out at the end. Very touching, and I think a lot of people only see like clips of it, and they're like, "Oh, this is like overplayed." But if you watch the whole thing, like it's very heartwarming. Yeah, that's four favorite movies.
What a range.
Yeah, those are great, man. Yeah, I'm impressed. Speaking of Matt King, though, in that 100 free
Yeah.
finals on the last day NCs, I thought he was gonna jump into the deep end. He was in lane 8. He
Yeah.
went into a sprint out of the tunnel and did a high jump, and it's like, you're in lane 8, man. You don't have room to go. And then he's like, nope, I gotta turn around here.
Yeah. I saw that like from the sidelines. I was like, oh, I think he did the same thing at Big Tens too. He's a man that lives off the hype for sure. So yeah,
Excellent.
that's hilarious.
All right, man. Well, let's get into your performances here. The final last audience questions, a lot of them were about that NCs, Gwen Thomas .18, what was it like winning? Joe_Patrick 611. I'm a breaststroker. How did you make such a massive leap? Very inspiring story. So I guess talk us through the 200 breast at NCs.
Yeah. So I think, let's see. To answer the first question, I think it still feels like surreal and crazy, and obviously very good. But going into the meet, I mean, I was 150.4, I think, coming into this year. And honestly, like the fall like period of training was kind of rough. I was like struggling. I mean, I think I kind of alluded to that in my like interviews at the meet a little bit, but I was kind of struggling with like the pressure of like coming back, and like I was thinking to myself like, oh, I'm an A finalist at NCs, like I need to like do really well in practice so I can have a good year. And like it was just rough. Like sometimes I would get beat like by a lot of my teammates, and then there were even practices where I was just swimming with the girls, and honestly getting beat by the girls a couple times. And so it was really rough. But I think in the spring, like early January, I kind of turned it around, and just from a little mindset shift of taking the pressure off myself, and being like, okay, like I'm just here to swim, like let's not like focus on results, let's like like just focus on swimming, like enjoy the teammates, enjoy the team. And once I did that, I think the swimming still would go up and down sometimes, but I wouldn't think too much into that. And then yeah, at Big Tens, I went 149.9 at night, surprising myself. I mean, Josh and I were both under 150, which was amazing. We talked about it a little bit throughout the year, like going under 150, like having more of us do that. so yeah, we were super stoked to do that. And going into NCs is I really didn't expect anything. I didn't I think I do the best when I kind of like don't think about the goals too hard. I just kind of like let it happen. And that was really my mindset throughout the meet. Individually, I think going to each session, just having fun, really enjoying the race. Because yeah, at the time I did think I would be done. And I think if people have seen my post, like yeah, I've changed my mind since then. But
Mhm.
I think yeah, I think like literally in the morning of the two breast, I was swimming and just in the middle of the race, I did a like middle pull out. I was like, wow, like, just smiling because I was just happy to be racing. And I think I talk about this with the team a little bit too, like in our team meetings at NCs is like, I think just that feeling of being free really, really helps you perform at your best. And I think that's what kind of made the difference.
Mhm.
Um, like, yeah, like if you told me even like after the 100 breast, I would go 148, like anything, I would still kind of be like, I think you're like, I think I can drop a bit, but I don't know about a full second, right? Because I was
Sure.
149.9.
Yeah.
Or even like a second and a half is just unbelievable. And yeah, I think it's really the buildup of like 5 years of work, just getting a little better each year and really focusing on details. Um, and I think, yeah, I think like all the previous years of work kind of like led up to that point,
Yeah,
if
of
that
course.
makes sense.
Justin, we had Tom Dino on, and he talked about when he walked on deck before his 200 free Olympic gold medal, he knew he was going to win Olympic gold. And he's made a comment like, nobody wins
Hmm.
Olympic gold medal without knowing or believing that they could win Olympic gold medal. Um,
Hmm.
it, at what point did you really believe that you were winning NCAA championship? It doesn't sound like it was. I mean, you obviously believe in yourself, but you didn't focus on that.
Yeah.
What point did it click to you? Was it that incredible third 50, or was it when you passed Collie Marty, or when it touched the wall because you didn't know what Fallon was doing? At what point did it click like, I'm winning this championship?
Yeah. I think um, after the morning swim, I didn't want to say it at all, but it just felt really smooth. And
Mm,
so I touched the wall and I was kind of like, wow, like I just dropped like point 0.7, I think it was
Mhm.
149.2 or 149.3.
yeah.
But I didn't want to jinx it. I was like, maybe at night I'll go slower. So I really
Yeah.
avoided. I think I told like one of my former teammates who I saw at the hotel, Joe Ratty, that I was like, it felt really easy, but I don't want to like say that at like too much and jinx
Yeah.
it. But after that, I kind of started thinking like, okay, like maybe I have a shot. Um, but really, like before the race, it was I cleared that like even like yeah, I thought about it a little bit. I kind of cleared it out of my head like
Yeah.
between sessions. Just really trying not to dwell on that fact.
Mhm.
And yeah, behind the blocks in the ready room leading up to it, I really didn't think about it at all.
Mhm.
Um, and yeah, like I closed my eyes on the walls. I think I saw
Oh, wow.
Carlos at the 150 like once,
Yeah.
but I really didn't know how I was standing like with respect to Matt, because I know
Yeah.
Matt had a really good third 50. So
Yeah.
with during the race, I kind of was just like, okay, I turned at the 100. It felt like really good,
Mhm.
and I was like, all right, Matt's gonna make his
Go.
move now, so I have to go as well.
Yeah.
I think Matt outsplit me like a little bit still on the last 100, but it was enough to hold him off. I did enough to hold him off, and yeah, no, really, it wasn't until I touched the wall that I realized that I won. And
Wow.
that's why I was just so shocked. Yeah,
Completely.
I watched the race later that night with my family, and that was the first time that I really knew what had happened throughout the whole
In a race.
race. Yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
Is closing your eyes on the turn something that you normally do, or what's the reasoning behind that?
No, I'd never done that before. Yeah, no, I never really like done that consciously before. I think in the morning I kind of did it just because I didn't want to know where people were. I saw Carlos more in the morning. Um, I was kind of citing Carlos more, and oh, thank you. That's
you,
Matt
sir.
King, ladies and gentlemen.
Yeah, I thought
With,
he'd be running and jumping in like he does for his walkouts.
they said they think you'd be running and jumping in like your walkouts.
Hey, tell him hello from Snohomish, by the way.
All right, they say hi. Thanks, guys. They're ridiculous.
Wait, what drink did you get there? What
this
is the
like, Costco strawberry lemonade?
oh
And then I guess some cheese and olives.
Wow, fancy.
They're hilarious.
there's all types of firsts today, right, Luke?
I get,
Luke, why don't
valet
why
service
doesn't anyone
here.
bring us food and drink like that on the show?
Yeah, they're hilarious. They're so funny. This whole thing was their idea, so
No, that's perfect. Keep it
yeah,
going. That's
him
worth more.
Matt and Connor Lamastra. So
It's the best dressed podcast we've had so far by a mile. By a mile.
Thank you.
Nobody's done it like in their suit, like topless, but nobody's done it.
Yeah.
With a suit. So I have a question for you. You talked about, you made it sound like, so I just knew at 100 I felt good. I knew Fallon was coming, so I had to pick it up. So I went for it, and we saw it. We saw a stroke count like 4, 5, 5, 6, 7, 8, and we saw you get up there, tempo going, and maintain your turns. But it's not that easy to do. That how does one go and pick it up and maintain those splits? I mean, after going out in what do you got in 52.0, you were 27.9, 28.3, right? That's incredible.
Right.
A guy closing on you. What's your mindset to be able to get that, maintain, not slow down? Sergio Lopez says the best 200 breaststrokers are the ones who slow down the least.
Yeah,
and that's what you did.
Definitely.
Oh.
Yeah, I think that's what my club training and my like training here at IU just really prepare me for. Especially this breaststroke group. Like, no, I don't know of any other program that has a specialized breaststroke group, and we go 2 times a week. Like Monday we have 200 breaststroke practices, and Thursday we have 100 breast practices. And I mean, we do start of the year, especially a lot of over distance. I mean, it's really just works, right? Like we do a lot of 200s, 400s, like occasionally 800s of like kick or pull, kick, pull, swim. It's kind of in that progression. And I'd say it's training that really takes a lot of time to do, like to get used to. Like my freshman year, really, I didn't see any improvements. But as you kind of get used to it, and you start to improve, it really allows you to be able to finish your races. I think me, or you can see that with Josh, who's also been here 4 years, especially long course. I mean, he can really close a race. My former roommate Max Reish. I mean, we would all swim it pretty similarly, where you kind of hold an even split throughout the race. So I really credit Ray's training. I mean, a lot of over distance. It's really hard. It's really hard work. Sometimes you're just in the middle of a pull set and you're just like, I don't think I can make it through, and you just got to keep going, and you just get better through that. Yeah.
All right, so Jassen, the story that's famous out there. We all know that you've dropped 9 seconds in 5 years at India, right? You were 157.4 in high school. That's 9 seconds. So we can talk about that. But I would like to, when I see you swim, I see Julian Smith swim. I see his underwaters and his turns. I see Crooks. I see his start and his turn. When I see you swim, I just see everything being good. Like your catch, your streamline, your start. It's like you're solid overall. as a overall solid. What has improved in Indiana in terms of your breaststroke? Was it technique? Was it strength? Was it muscle? Was it just like he just kept layering everything on you? Your entire 200 body of work was continually all improved. What happened?
I think it's kind of everything.
Mm,
I definitely put on weight since coming in. I mean, even like this year compared to last year,
mm.
I'm up like 5 pounds.
Wow.
Um, and I think that made a big difference this year. I think that might
Yeah.
have been why my training was maybe a little off, um, like a little more up and down. But I think when we tapered it, it worked out.
Yeah.
Um, but yeah, definitely like the weight training here helps because we didn't really lift in club swimming. We did like sort of we did dry land, a lot of dry land, but really uh moving in like squats or like cleans,
Yeah.
um, bench. We never really did that through high school, and so that was a new experience. Um, I think technically, yeah, I've definitely improved, especially the catch of my pull a lot. Because we have the TiVos, they're kind of TVs with underwater cameras, and at the end of every practice, we have pulleys that kind of go across the whole pool, and so I think doing that, we do that like end of every breaststroke practice. Just go in, look at your technique, you know, try to change things around, playing with like paddles, fins, no gear, fingertip paddles. Um, and like I was saying, like kind of looking at Cody and Lily when I first got here, just learning what a good breaststroke looks like.
Yeah.
Because you really don't in club swimming, you really don't get to see yourself swim a lot,
Yeah.
especially underwater. So I think that made a big difference being able to see. Ray really likes to talk about this catch right here where you're in this like in this box. Um, so yeah, I think technically, my like catch especially has improved a lot. Um,
Yeah, when we were
and
talking with Julian Smith, he
yeah,
talked about the catch quite a bit and how that's kind of come around
yeah,
for him. And one thing that we recently we were sponsored by Destro Machines, and we were playing around with
mhm,
the power rack, the Destro Machine power rack, and you
mhm,
can really start to feel like the catch when you have some resistance swimming. From my experience with it, do you guys do much
yeah,
resisted breaststroke or use that at all to incorporate your catch?
yeah. I mean, like I said, like with the pulleys,
Hmm.
I think
Hmm.
that's the
Sure.
biggest thing.
Yeah.
Um, and also Ray this year started throwing on like we put drag socks on our knees
Hmm.
or we swim with mitts or like
Hmm.
the drag suit.
Sure.
I don't love the drag suit. It's just it's pretty hard. I feel like my hips are sinking, but um, yeah, I think a lot of resisted work. I think the socks on the ankles are good for like kind of feeling that like sweep around in the kick. Yeah.
Sure.
And what's also really nice about training in a group like yours is that the feedback not just the coaches give you, but your teammates give you.
Hmm.
You got Casper
Right.
and you got all those boys next to you giving you feedback.
Yeah.
And what's some of the good advice that you've gotten from Olympic medalists that you've had? You have two of them training with you. What kind of advice
Hmm.
have they given you, and then you've given them? And they go, "Huh, I didn't realize that." You guys have that camaraderie.
Uh, yeah, yeah. I think
Yeah,
maybe less technically because like Ray and Noel and whoever's coaching breaststroke tend to watch the TVs. So then
yeah,
like, and we're all kind of doing pulleys at different times.
Mm.
Uh, but even then, yeah, I think like I love to help the incoming freshmen, especially. Um, just yeah, there's a lot of little technical things or like kind of breaststroke quirks that we have. So like when we pull with like a band or a tube, kind of doing like a small breaststroke kick instead of like a dolphin kick. I think Cody came up
Mm.
with that, and we've been all doing that since he kind of invented that.
yeah,
Um, one thing like that really shows. I mean, yeah, definitely this program is close, and even like Casper coming in, we were in the weight room doing med ball slams, and he was kind of explaining how to do it. That it felt more like a pull out because I think I was kind of like crunching over as I threw it, and he was like, think about a pull out and how you like keep your whole body lengthened when you slam it down, and Yeah, I mean, that's a good example.
Yeah.
I think Josh and I don't do it as much, but we all like we push each other in other ways, if that makes sense. Yeah.
All right, well, I got a question now. We had Owen McDonald on early in the season, and he's really happy for how his breaststroke is coming along with you guys. You know, he says, you know, if it wasn't for my breaststroke, I'm faster than Leon Marchand. You know, like I'm there. Breaststroke. What advice do you have for Owen? I mean, he had a good NCs, maybe not the one he wanted,
Mhm.
you know, obviously, because he wanted to win, obviously.
Right.
But you know, what
Right.
advice would you have for like a swimmer who is an elite, say 200 IMer, who has a very good breaststroker? But you know, what would
Yeah.
you give them? What do you think? There's one thing that, hey, focus on this. This is a secret sauce. It's really
I think I've talked to Owen a bit about breaststroke, but I think short course at least you can cheat a little bit with pullouts. Just like the more powerful your pullouts are, the less swimming you do.
Yeah.
But it's really I think getting that catch and then pull like or recovery over the water. A lot of non-breaststrokers and even breaststrokers, they tend to kind of shoot down, and so
Yeah.
they'll end up with their whole body being too far under the water, and that's something that I struggled with coming in. So really being able to shoot forward and not like go too deep into the water. Um, but I wouldn't really say that's like a secret sauce. I think that's something it takes time to work on, and you really do need to like work on it regularly. It takes practice, especially in the IM. So there's kind of no shortcuts there.
Yeah. You mentioned pullouts, and we did have an audience member ask, how do you maximize or maintain distance at the end of that 200 on your pullouts?
Um, Pullouts, I think we do a lot of like aerobic work. We also do a lot of like double pullouts.
Hmm.
I think the worst, like one of the worst things we've done is like it was supposed to be 2 400s double pullouts, and also if you know our program, we like to like unless we're doing like really fast pace work, we like to flip our turns, like take a freestyle stroke, flip into the wall, 2 pullouts, come out for air, and so it's supposed to be 2 400s double pullout. And I think after the first one, everyone was so gassed, and Ray was like, "Okay, I'll give you a bone. Like it's the second one's only a 300," and we were like, "Yes!" Like the best, the best thing ever. It was still so hard, but I think just getting used to that pain,
Yeah.
um, and building up your aerobic capacity, like really, I think this is going back to like freshman year. Gary Costspade, one of the former breaststrokers here, he was telling me like in your first 100 of the race, just like focus on breathing and make sure you get enough air. And even now, that's kind of what I think about the first 100. Like, yeah, there's part of my mind that's like, okay, like technically you need to execute X, Y, Z, but the big like one word phrase I keep repeating is like breathe, breathe, like every stroke, just take as big a breath as I can, so that in the second 100 I have like enough aerobic capacity to like I'm not like gassed and out of air, and I can like really push that. Yeah.
So on that 400, two
Yeah.
pullouts, how many strokes are you taking per lap?
Uh, it starts off like pretty low. So I'd say like 2 to 3 to 4 strokes plus like a freestyle stroke the first
Hmm.
like 100, and then it might start to get up there. The pullouts really do start to shorten
Yeah.
it. It becomes kind of like pull out, recover, pull out as fast as you can. Um, yeah, and then it might go up to like with a double pull out, you're still popping up at like 12 and a half and taking 5 strokes.
Sure.
It starts to go, but the goal is to hold it as long as you can. And yeah, it does help, I think.
We're talking a lot about training for the race, but we never ever talk about a really important aspect of what you did at this meet. And we hadn't seen it since Kasper Stokowski did it in Georgia Tech 3 years ago.
Yeah.
And I had a roommate, I had a college teammate, Danik Boutin, a breaststroker, who would practice celebration at the end of every tough set. Like, so we're doing a latex set, he would touch the wall and go,
Uh-huh.
yes! Like rehearse his celebrations. But it was really
Yeah,
interesting mindset visualization, right? It really gave us confidence and he executed it.
right.
Dude, that celebration, talk us through it. Crazy.
Um, yeah, I mean, speaking of like in practice celebrations, we don't do it all the time, but sometimes in breaststroke group, just to like goad each other on, we like to
Yeah.
just like lean over and smack the water and celebrate after you out touch someone, and it's a lot of fun. It just brings some fun to the practice.
Totally.
But I don't know. I think I I didn't really think about. I mean, because in the morning after prelims, I kind of was like, okay, maybe I have a shot, but I really didn't think about what I would do for a celebration. But I think I think it really just calls back to Brendan's celebrations at NC's.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
mean, in Minneapolis, getting on the lane line and just
Yeah.
going like
Yeah.
yeah, like and then again like the next year in Indy, getting out immediately and getting on the blocks or whatnot. I don't know. I was just excited.
Sure.
I think no one expected me to win. I didn't expect me to win, and just I just celebrated, I guess, from the heart. Did it for the fans. Yeah, there's really nothing to it other than that. Yeah.
Well, we talked on our last show about you have no idea what NCAAs are like unless you're there in person because of the energy in the crowd and raucousness. But that's also
Yeah.
that as watching NCAAs, you don't feel something like what happened with you because
Mhm.
we knew your story. We saw that win, we saw that great race, but we felt your celebration, and we felt your raw emotion. And the
Mhm.
crowds did. I mean, Texas got up and gave you a round of applause. Cal, round of
Mhm.
applause. Everybody celebrated with you. And that's when the
Uh-huh.
swimming community came together, and it was a really special moment. So, I think about that. I think about Crooks and Gee crying after their race. I just think about
Mhm.
really people just being their authentic self. And swimming needs more. Don't you think swimming needs more of like, let's just be humans and let's take the cap and goggles off and be who we are?
Oh yeah, definitely. Yeah, I mean, I think I think the emotion is what we're here for, you know, like
Yeah.
if you win a race, I personally love like a big celly from anyone. Like it it inspires people or it motivates people. I think who was it that said that their alarm was just I think like it was their competitors like celebration like roar um for like the next
Yeah.
4 years until their next
We
Olympics.
asked Brendan Hansen that. He says that's not
Brendan
true. But
Hansen,
yeah.
right?
Yeah,
Yeah,
we
yeah,
asked
yeah.
Brendan.
That's Kitajimas.
Kitajima.
Yeah, like
Yeah.
I mean it brings out a lot in people, right? Um so yeah, it's good to have a big celly. It's great to have like I mean I didn't know that Texas or Cal or I saw Cal actually, but for like
Yeah.
Texas,
Texas too.
that's
Yeah.
really that's heartwarming and really like getting out and just the rush of my teammates running there. That was very touching too. Like um I mean, I was watching Zalan swim earlier that day,
Yeah.
and I mean, seeing him when like
Dude.
I got out of the warm up pool like near the end, and I had to run over there and give him a hug, but that inspired me to get going that session,
Oh.
and he was like, "All right, like get it done." And I was like, "Yeah, let's do it," you know. Um, yeah, I think people swim better when they're excited, and it's always good to bring excitement into the sport.
Yeah.
Yeah, couldn't agree more. And I think now people are gonna rank your celebration up there with the best of all time. So, what do you have as your best celebration you've ever seen at a meet before?
That didn't get a DQ.
um,
Yeah, don't fall in
I
other people's lanes. We know
yeah,
that.
yeah. I mean, yeah, going back, like I think Burns has some of the best cellies out there. I
Hmm.
think it's
Totally.
pretty widely recognized. When he got out, like immediately. Um, I mean, just like going back to childhood, like Brent or Phelps, like on the lane line after his race and just arms race, like
Hmm.
those are some great, like iconic cellies. Um, yeah, yeah. I think I think that's all I have to
Yeah.
say on that. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. Well, one part of your celebration you might need to expand on for me is this bison head that you wore on the podium that fell off, and then you almost fell off the podium. I was like, oh, Jason's going off the back of the podium. What is that about?
So that, I think we've been kind of talking about bring back the bison. It's an old IU it's an old IU mascot back from like the 70s, and since our new football coach has been here, they've kind of like been talking about bringing it back, and we've been talking about like in the weight room. But basically, I mean, and we talked about it at NCs too. Like the bison is just this really tough symbol. Like they're like freaking tough animals. And when there's a storm coming, instead of like running away or whatever, the bison, they go as a herd through the storm. And we've kind of used that line a lot this year, like through the storm, just right in head on into the conflict. And yeah, I think IU should bring that back. Like personally speaking, I think IU should bring that back as a mascot. It would be really cool. We have it on our Big Ten rings from last year as well. So our weight coach Eddie brought the bison hat because I think one of our weight coach managed to get that hat somewhere. And yeah, just after the win, I was like, can I wear the bison hat? He's like, hell yeah, here you go. Yeah.
So as a Purdue alum, I must say, it's only an IU education that will teach you to walk right into the storm, man. So enjoy.
Thank you. Yeah. We go through the storm for sure.
Jassen, I swam in Canada, and in Canada we get 5 years of eligibility, and I was barely making the team my freshman year, and I ended up winning 2 national championships on a relay in the last couple of years. But 5th year was my best year by far.
Congrats.
Thank you, a long time ago. But the point is, it took me 5 years to really fulfill my potential and get where I was. We're not going to see any more 5th years. For how many more Jassen Yep stories are we gonna not see? How many have we missed? And what's your view on like the value of the 5th year for you personally, and how that could maybe help so many others?
Yeah, I think, I mean, some people just develop later, and yeah, I think obviously people are pointing to me as a case of that, or like Ray was kind of saying that breaststrokers tend to be older, like you see at Olympic trials. Like Nick Fink is what, like late 20s, and he's like he's just peaking. Yeah, I think the 5th year was a really valuable opportunity. I honestly hadn't really thought about it. I was kind of like ready to be done like my senior year, but I was just having so much fun swimming, and being with the team that like nearer to like November, December of my senior year, I started really thinking about it and kind of committed to it like in January, February. And yeah, obviously I'm really glad I took it. And I don't know, it was definitely a good experience. I think it's really obviously unfortunate that COVID happened, but to be able to have that COVID year as a result was good. Yeah.
Yeah, the other big topic of conversation around you was, being a walk-on. And obviously you were a great high school swimmer. I remember watching you at CCS and that peak and all that. I mean, 157 in high school, 200 breast is a great swimmer. But when you go to these really good programs, even good swimmers or walk-ons or just fighting to make the travel team. I think you even saw that your sophomore year when you were swimming exhibition, right? A great kind of breakout year for you, but swimming exhibition. So what are your thoughts on the roster cuts and how that might impact swimmers like you that are kind of, going into the, the big pond as a small fish hoping to get better?
Yeah. Well, first things first, I kind of want to issue a correction. I'm not sure how it started, but yeah, I actually wasn't a walk-on. I had a little bit of scholarship. It wasn't much, but yeah, I had a little bit of scholarship. I think just in the moment, I didn't like think to correct it or know how to, Yeah, it was a little bit, and yeah, definitely not swimming well my freshman year and being exhibition sophomore year. I think with these new like roster limits, I think that sort of story would be a lot more uncommon. I mean, like, yeah, like if I hadn't swum well, like if this was my freshman year and I hadn't swum well, I mean, who knows? Like I might have been off the team, and
Yeah.
I would have never gotten to see what happened with my swimming. So I think, I mean, I'm not too familiar with all the changes, and I think no one really knows what's going to happen. Um, I think at the top end, like you might have people, yeah, benefiting from NIL and all of that, but it definitely, and I think Eddie Reese was talking about this, like within a few years, you're going to see a lot fewer teams that are supported, and I think that's really unfortunate, just for like the amount of people, like I mean, even who get to be on a college team, and have that experience is being drastically reduced is really unfortunate. Um,
Mhm.
and yeah, I mean, without touching on it too much, I think it's just we'll have to see what happens.
Totally. Well, nevertheless, two NCAA champions from this year received very little or no scholarships when they were recruited. Yourself and Cooks.
Hmm.
But there was something that the coach saw in you guys and must have
Right.
told you guys. David Marsh went to go and recruit my buddy George Brovell in Bowles High School. He didn't go to recruit George. He went to recruit this other kid, and he's like,
Hmm.
"Who's that?" Because
Yeah.
you know it, you see it. You're like, I can do a lot with that, and that's
Yeah.
gonna give me
Yeah.
time.
Right.
You and Ray have those conversations, and that confidence building, and like, give it time. You got it. He told you something. Like, was it like sprinkles of your talents showing at that point? Obviously.
Yeah, I mean, I think when I went 157, like Ray and like IU kind of reached out. Um, but we didn't really have those conversations. I think the whole time I kind of just like trusted the process, like at least while I was here, Um, like when I just remember when I first was talking to Ray, and what kind of got me to come here was um he was telling me like you're a good student, and if
Yeah.
you come here, like the pool will be your hardest classroom.
Yeah.
And I was like, that's what I want. Like I'm here to swim. And yeah, I think like after freshman year, it was kind of disappointing because I thought I'd been training a little better than that. Um, but yeah, I just sticking it out. Um, it really, I mean, even my sophomore year, it started to show results. Um, and since then, I mean, there hasn't really been the need to have that conversation. It's just kind of been just keep doing what I'm doing. Yeah.
Well, kudos, man. 'Cause it takes a lot for you to go from California with beautiful outdoor high school pools, and you being a big fish
Uh-huh.
in a smaller pond. I mean, you to going to a place where champions have been built, and to be
Right.
around them, and like, and honestly, I would question myself, like, do I belong here? What am I doing here? Oh my God, this guy is a bronze medalist.
Hmm.
That's Ray Lewis, and so kudos to that. Um,
Thank
but
you. Thank
now
you.
your journey is evolving even now, right, Jassen? It's like, okay,
Hmm.
I last year I thought one thing about my career. Now I'm thinking another thing.
Right.
What are you thinking now? I know it's so early, we're so fresh, but where are you at
Yeah.
in your stage of your career right now, going without making too many big promises,
Yeah. 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 Without making promises, I think it was funny. Going into NCAA's, one of our freshmen, Mira, uh, he's the Czech swimmer.
Oh yeah.
We were tapering and hanging out in the well. He was kind of joking, like, "Oh, Jason, like, are you gonna come back like after NCs?" I was like, "No, no, I think I'm done." And then he was like, "What if you go 148?" And Casper was nearby, and Casper was like, "Man, if you go 148, like you have to like come back. You have to." And then I was like, like, haha, that's very funny. If I go 148, I'll think about it. And I went 148, and here we are. I think I like even like the night of like Saturday night, I was kind of thinking about it. And yeah, it was a pretty quick decision. I think just the opportunities this year are pretty good, with Worlds and WUGS being there as well. Just seeing what I can do. I think the biggest thing holding me back was grad school.
Yeah.
I'm finishing up my master's like this year, and so it's kind of going to be a busy few weeks wrapping up like some final papers, like my thesis, on top of like still being in the water. But Ray and I kind of worked that out. And yeah, I mean, I think the plan is to see how the summer goes, and go from there. I don't want to make any statements beyond that. Yeah.
Perfect. I was just thinking, and by the way, it's interesting how the Jason who was there the night before the 200 breast NCAA is the same Jason human who's there now.
Yeah.
And it's interesting
Yeah.
how 1 second of your life difference made such a
Yeah.
difference in your life. So those who are out there swimming
Yeah.
and didn't do what they wanted to achieve, they're the same person they were just before, you know. And
Mhm.
it's a real moral thing, because
Right.
148 versus 150. What is that in life? But that was a big
Yeah.
thing for you. But same person.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's interesting. Yeah.
John.
Yeah.
All right, we're gonna finish up with some rapid fire. All right, Jason.
Alrighty.
What's the hardest race in swimming?
Hardest race, I think 2 back.
Okay.
Yeah.
Olympic gold medal or world record?
I think I'd have to go with the gold medal.
Yeah.
All right. Do you pee in the pool?
Yeah. There's 2 types of people. You pee in the pool or you lie about it.
So true. All right. You can only keep 3 apps on your phone. All the other ones have to be deleted. What do you keep?
Okay. Does this include like my phone and or like the like
that's an
calling,
app, yep.
everything? Everything. Wow. I think, let's see. Have to keep messages. But does the FaceTime option in messages count as an app for
man.
FaceTime?
That count, or you can use it in there, yeah.
Okay. So yeah, messages. Let's see. What's on my phone? Messages. The eBay. Spotify. Yeah, I need my music.
All right. Excellent. All right, well, you got Zal in there. We saw him in his white suit. So who's weirder, breaststrokers or distance swimmers?
Breaststrokers are pretty weird. Yeah, I'll admit it fully.
Be proud. All right.
Oh yeah.
Wearing the suit. We talked about fashion. What's the worst swimming fashion faux pas?
Worst swimming fashion faux pas. I think if you're racing and you got the goggle straps hanging out, I find that to be a little weird. Just because you could like double cap and hide the straps and it'll help you. But
yeah, let's solve that.
Yeah.
What's the most annoying thing a non-breaststroker can do?
Like in the water or like swimming breaststroke or
yeah,
in general?
Whatever. Yeah.
It's a weird. I don't really know. I don't think it would be that different from a weird thing a breaststroker would do. Nothing off the top of my head though.
Does IU hate Purdue?
Yeah. Sorry.
It's all good. It's mutual. It's all good. What's the hardest set you've ever done?
I'm really bad at remembering sets, but one that comes to mind, my freshman year, Ray called it Red Band Challenge. And so, the cords, we'd like attach it to one end and you have to make like 20 down the pool breaststroke with like fins. And a lot of our bands were like new. And so you would make it to like the 20 yard mark. You'd take like 10,000 strokes and you would make it to like 23 and you'd have to call it. And Ray would be like, why are you making it? And we're like, Ray, like the band is too tight. And I think after that, he had another set planned, but like I literally couldn't even walk. And he had to like just have us just swim out after that. That was one of the hardest things I've ever done. Yeah.
Was that with breaststroke fins or regular fins?
Just normal fins. You're like
Okay.
flutter kicking or dolphin kicking, breaststroke pull. Yeah.
Sure. And what type of interval were you doing that on?
I
just
don't
just
even
trying
remember
to
if there was
just
an
making
interval. I
it.
think you
Yeah.
you would just kind of go,
Cool.
because some people would take forever, try to make it and still not make it. But other people would just kind of like go to 20 and you call it.
Shoot back.
Was that like man, this is college swimming moment for Jassen Yep? You said that was freshman
there
year,
are a
right?
lot
It's
of
like,
those.
oh my
There are a
God.
lot of those.
Yeah.
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 That was like just one of the craziest things. I think even if I did it today, I would just be completely gassed, depending on the cord I got. Yeah.
Of course.
Sure. All right, and last one here. How often are you doing social kick with the IU breaststroke crew?
Ooh, Ray actually doesn't like social kick.
Oh, see, look,
Yeah.
IU, another down thumb.
we try to do it as often as we can, which ends up being in like other practices, but as often as we can. So,
Yeah.
or like in warm down.
Yeah.
As many times as we can, because breaststroke group is a close group, so we love to just chat all the time.
Awesome. All right, Jassen. Well, thanks for joining us. It's been great to follow you from peak and Mitty high school, now NCAA champion. Excited that you are going to continue and swim a little bit more, and we'll be excited to follow you in the long course season here.
Yeah. Thank you guys. Yeah.
So,
thanks for having me.
Well,
and
of course,
it was a fun time.
Great. Well, you're going out with you in your suit, but thank you everyone for joining us. That was this episode of Social Kick. See you next time.
Hey everyone, thanks for hanging out with us. If you enjoyed this episode of Social Kick and you'd like to see more, subscribe to the channel. And we love talking swimming. We'd love to talk about swimming with you. So leave us a comment and we'll see you next time.